Hi, ESGOO here. I don't ever do this, but this is insane, and I figured people would want to hear what I have to say for whatever reason, because 4 kits just dropped, and all of them are to some extent good. And I just wanted to talk about it briefly. I guess just starting with the Dawn. Sorry, this is so scatterbrained, and it will be. But this Dawn seems like a very solid 2-star. Obviously, I don't have numbers. This is just based off of an initial kit. Nothing else really. But this seems like a very solid skill 3, dealing more damage. This is something we'd never see on 2-stars. Passive gives poise to allies with less poise, and gaining poise potency with zone skill or coin effects, which is literally every skill. So this will always trigger. Assuming this is a resonance passive, then maybe it's not as good as I think, but giving poise potency can be really good. Some IDs really want that, like Bacardi's saying wants that, but obviously you're gonna want to run a Blade Lineage team from now on, because we'll get there. But this seems like a good ID. Just applying poise, giving buffs, but she seems like she'll be pretty good if we're going by standard rolls. This will be an 11, 14/13, and then 14-ish. But there's also coin power conditions, so I don't know. We could be seeing like 16 roll, 16 roll, 13 roll. I mean, this just doesn't happen. I can't think of any 2-stars off the top of my head that gain coin power on their 2-coin skill 1s. There's no punchline, there's no joke. I just can't think of one right now. So this is a welfare ID. So unless they really nerf her rolls, and plus X damage on critical hit, which is usually pretty good. Even if it's just like plus 30, that's the 3rd coin of something that can get coin power. God. Okay, sorry. Then there's Gregor, who is probably the least exciting, but I still like him. Still a very neat ID. Very bleed focused. Every clash he wins will inflict bleed, which is nice. More bleed potency, which we do want, for sure. Skill 1 that inflicts bleed count as well is pretty nice, since more bleed count is always welcome. And the rest of his kit is relatively standard. X bleed is X amount of attack power down, which could be really strong if it is a very good amount. And clash power on both his skill 1 and 2. And then this skill 3 could be pretty strong. I do like that he's sort of based around debuffing and buffing himself. Also, he has plus coin drop, which, okay. I guess it's become somewhat commonplace, so I can't really complain. But here's hoping that his bleed application is actually respectable and good, which it seems like it should be, because also this makes Gorku Mohonglu does not work well with this ID because he won't bleed counts, but that's kind of his whole deal anyways. Offense level down, debuffs, plus coin drop, clash power, coin power. Yeah, I don't think he'll be the best ID. I think he will be the worst of the 2-stars, but there's also only 2 to compare against, but I think he will be worse than Dawn. That's mostly because of what we have up next. Faust has a whole new debuff, which I kind of did expect based on the animations. Still surprising, but it's really neat to see. She has a lot of on-crit effects, and the Red Plum Blossom debuff, which she applies on-crit or via her passive, seems to be really neat. And this is something I've wanted for a while, where you crit the enemy and it inflicts bleed. An open wound kind of debuff, where you hit the enemy and they gain bleed. So that's really cool. I'm glad they're implementing this. It's just that it's also alongside the next ID and everything else, so I like the 3. I like the coin spread because this is pretty unique. 3 coin skill 1, 2 coin, 2 coin, and this should be like an 18 roll with the condition. This should be honestly coin power on a 3 coin skill 1, probably a 12 if I had to guess, which is very good. And I wanted the skill 1 to be the main focus of the Faust ID since it has the coolest animation in my opinion. And then yeah, this has a bunch of effects. Coin power based on poise, which there's just a lot of in all of these kits, which, yeah, makes sense. Okay. She has the Sank Sinclair thing where she consumes poise count on herself to give her poise potency, which it does seem like she will struggle for that a little bit. But there's also Dawn who can give her poise count, or poise potency, so it might not even matter. And slash fragility, all this is on crit, so it's a matter of how consistent you can be and also how much poise count you'll be able to gain. But there are ways to supplement that, like blind obsession, so who knows? And then the main event. There is too much text here. This is the first ID I think I'll ever say has too much text. I don't like how much text is here, but, and I wish I could say like Captain Ishmael, it's simple once you look at it. It's kind of not. There's a lot happening, and it's mostly based on if you have Blade Lineage IDs. Because if you have them, then a lot of these effects seem really good, especially here on the passive. Combat start applies swordplay of the homeland buff to all other Blade Lineage IDs, and this doesn't say anything about it expiring. X plus poise on skill use, I assume, just happens forever. So, coin power and crit damage inversely proportional to the number of the coins means less coins, more coin power, and more crit damage. So, hey, skill 3s don't gain coin power, but they do gain damage and crit damage inversely proportional. So, to claim their bones on Sinclair will likely be doing more damage. It depends how much that will be, but I imagine this will be a very significant buff, considering that seems to be the main gimmick of this ID. Lots of resonance, which, by the way, I talked about in the resonance video that I thought to claim their bones would not be resonance-based, which, to be fair, to claim their bones is not, but these two are. So, hey, fair enough. You have a Pride faction, again, and so you want to use it. Okay, I get it. Looking at these skills, again, poise equals coin power, swordplay of the homeland, rending and penetrating, which is skill 1 and skill 2 respectively, highest absolute resonance to other Blade Lineage IDs. I still don't think this will make Blade Lineage O's good, but it will make her maybe usable, which is a crazy thing to say, because I didn't think they would give this many buffs to them, especially swordplay of the homeland, because this seems insane. And also, if they get defeated, he gets it instead, which is... if the minimum amount of coin power is +1, oh my god. And this rolls average. Also, he perfectly fuels regret. I think this will be the most busted ID potentially in the game, which is cool. I think Merceau deserves a win. So honestly, good for him. I'm not happy that we're seeing this much more Pride, but okay. What I do like is that this gimmick of you lose the clash with Yield My Flesh, then you do to claim their bones. I don't know why the hell they gave this attack weight, but it has attack weight, which is cool. You can't be staggered. It says it's a defense skill, which is, I guess, not incorrect, since it happens when you were hit, or when you lose the clash. Yeah, after getting hit, use to claim their bones skill. So it is technically a counter, but his regular counter, he's got a bunch of slash power up too. Man. So also, on these two skills, he has, also on the counter, I guess. Yeah, just on those. He has deal more damage on critical hit based on poise on self. So more crit damage, or more damage on crit. Then plus X damage on critical hit. Deal plus X% more damage per Y% missing HP on self. If this stacks like Harpooner Heathcliff, it's over, I tell you. It is over. Deal more damage if this skill targets only a single enemy / part is a neat gimmick. I like that. It probably won't make up for the benefit you can potentially get from 2 attack weight, since, as I've discussed before, if you hit 2 parts, that's just double damage. So if this is double damage on a single enemy / part, God save us, because, oh my god, 4 coin, regret, given this does not get coin power, but you also can't get staggered. Inflicts bleed, it does paralyze next turn, which, hey, BL Sinclair, you should learn something from this. You clash win on the skill 2 into lose on Yield My Flesh, which I assume they're going to make that easy enough. If not, that's also kind of cool, because then you need to manipulate it so you can lose the clash. But also that kind of feels bad, because the best way to lose a clash is to be at low sanity, which means you're not rolling heads for this. So I want, maybe this will just be a 1+1. Maybe this will be a Saint Gregor skill. And it's not like they skimped out on his coins. Yes, this is a single coin skill, but come on, it's not really. I expected them to put some kind of cap on this. I expected them to tie it into his actual counter, which I don't think this will be very good, but since you can't even buff it this way, yeah, doesn't buff defensive skills. That'd be neat if it did. Also, he just gives poise, which is about expected. He gives even more if there's X amount of Blade Lineage IDs, which it seems like there'll be at least 3 good ones, plus Yisang, so 4 is like a decently reasonable team to run, plus 2 others. You can run Captain Ishmael as well, because you'll get Pride Resonance, and then Harpooner Heathcliff, and then your team is looking really, really good. You have Pride Resonance out the wazoo, you have Wrath Resonance you can fall back on, you have so many things you can do. You have critting with this debuff, means more bleed, which means more Captain Ishmael skill 3, and you have Gloom, and you have Sloth, and you have a more varied amount of sins because of these two. A little bit of Sloth helps with, you can use Wishing Care and Dawn, because you'll have Wrath from your other guys. You'll have a bit of Gloom, which admittedly this won't be enough for stuff like Blind Obsession, but man, these just look so cool, and I'm shocked that they released 4 IDs and then made all 4 of them somehow interesting. That is really impressive, and maybe the numbers will be extremely disappointing, but even still, I like this design space, and I like what they're trying to do. A unique debuff and a semi-skill 4 is not what I expected. Also a bunch of new unique buffs, and I'll definitely make a video covering all 4 of them, but I wanted to make this, and I'm sorry if it was a mess, but I couldn't not. And I know that a lot of other... I didn't even get to talk about this. Oh my goodness, that he just doesn't die. He can't get staggered on if he uses the skill 3 or to claim the bones, which are tied in together. But also if he takes damage that brings his HP down to 0, no. Which is... And then it can't drop below 1 for the turn. Which is just crazy. Like, that's insanely good. Because if you use that alongside this, that means you get rid of all of your stagger bars, assumedly. Cannot be staggered. Yeah, until this skill ends. And what does that mean exactly? Is it just the one hit you take? In which case you can manipulate it, but I do wonder how that would work. But I think there's probably a way you can do it where you can get rid of all your stagger bars if you wanted to. Regardless, it seems so good. And if this is, I mean, you can apply multiple of these swordplay buffs, so I assume even 2 final power on both a skill 1 and a skill 2. Like, that seems pretty good for you, especially. Oh my god, that seems really good for you. The only issue is that it's Absolute Resonance, and her skill 1 is Sloth, which kind of messes with it, so hey, fair enough. That's, will depend on speed ranges, but I guess you could use Captain Ishmael's skill 2 to get her to use a skill 1 while also using Representation Emitter or her skill 2. There's a lot of things you can do, and I think the Pride IDs of this season and Captain Ishmael will play into them because these are just more bleed, more poise, and it's just the bleed and poise season all the way down. And hey, I hope this is the end, because this is a good note to end the poise season on. Because oh my god, that's so much poise, and they have their own unique buff now, or debuff now, and I doubt we'll see this on any other ID for a long while. But if we do, it's cool, because this is really cool. I've wanted this for so long. I haven't been able to talk about it because I haven't been able to make a bleed video because we've been getting bleed IDs, and now we just get more of them. I didn't expect Blade Lineage to have bleed, but now they have it by proxy, I guess. I guess one last thing to note is that this is same turn / fragility, so it's likely this ID will be fast, which is good because you want to get the setup for others. I mean, if Gregor is enough bleed support, if this is like... no. If this is 3 bleed count, though, Could be pretty good. Could be pretty good. I doubt it, but it could be pretty good. And then, yeah, this is the man of the hour. So I expect a lot of people will have no idea how to play him on release, and I will be pestered and harassed until I make a guide on him, and even I will have no idea how to play with him until I actually play with him. So, oh my god. That's all I have to say. Thanks for watching this absolute rant video. I haven't done one of these in a while. It felt good to just kind of get it all out there. I'm super excited. Yeah, these ID reviews and now.